Hi, everyone. Welcome to People Watch, the official podcast of the People Management Association of the Philippines.
Here, there are no motherhood statements, no hiding behind obsolete theories and adages, and no time to beat around the bush.
Yes, nanibago ka agad ako, Miss Joan, because right now I have her with me and I'm back as well. So this is all about real talk with real people. I'm Jovenir, and of course, I'm hosting this with my one and only, my favorite, kasi siya ang punta ka mag-isa, Miss Joan Chung.
Yes, hi, Ms. Joan. We are reunited and it feels so good, Joe.
Galing nga. So parang Ashford and Simpson ba yun yung reunited na yan, Ms. Joan? No, sila yung artists, no? Ah, di ba? Yun yung graduation song nyo?
Ano ba? Through the Years.
Through the Years. Diyos ko naman, Kenny Rogers. Yung may-ari ng fried chicken. Okay. So, yan.
Yes.
This is this is the first podcast after the PMAP annual conference.
Yeah, kamusta ang PMAP? I missed the annual conference.
It was great. It was really, beyond expectations. Ang dami po nag-attend and yung learning talaga. It was a harvest of learning. And our guest for this morning was one of the key players. He was one of the main organizers of this year's annual conference.
That's great. And what we're actually going to talk about is resilience, no? Today, resilience in the organization. Paano ba tayo mag-adapt and thrive in the face of challenges, no? Ang dami nangyari in the past years. We had the pandemic, nagkakaroon ng war somewhere, diba, in the other side of the world. How do people adjust? How do organizations adjust, no, given these disruptions?
And of course, there are so many things that are happening right now in terms of yung mga generational challenges natin. Ang dami na pong ayaw bumalik full-time sa office, but then there are calls already for them to go back to the office. And people and organizations are really pursuing targets now like mad, trying to make up for the last 2 to 3 years na talagang ginulo ng COVID. So, Ms. Joan?
Yeah. Right now we'd like to invite one of the organizers of the annual conference. He is a professional OD consultant and is currently the chief learning engineer of the Link Organizational Development or LinkOD and SeeWorthy. He is recognized for his talks and customized workshops on leadership, productivity, innovation, project management, team building, and strategic planning. We'd like to welcome Mr. Luigi Mapa. Hi, sir.
Good morning.
Hey, hello. Good morning. Good morning, Joan. Good morning, Jove. Thanks so much for having me. Jove, it is good to see you in Cebu.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Parang tawag to, starstruck pa ako. Alam mo naman na idol ko talaga si Sir Luigi. So I made sure na I had a photo with him. Yan.
That's great.
Sinabmit ko na sa FBI. For profiling.
sa Amerika talaga, di man lang local dito sa NBI natin.
Meron na daw tayong record, sir.
Okay.
Dapat all over the world.
Yan. Kasi dapat malaki yung organizational reach natin . So we were, yung sa intro kanina ni Ms. Joan, organizational challenges and resilience. The irony during the pandemic, by the way, a lot of organizations were stunned, not doing anything. In fact, wala halos training nangyari . Because and that's ironic because that's supposed to be the time we accelerate learning. Kaya mali-mali yung pinagagawa natin . But in this particular time, Sir Luigi, ano pong big picture natin ngayon? I know we should be optimistic, but we want to ask you, what's your realistic take where we are right now?
It's interesting that you're starting off with that, Joe, because we've been approached by quite a few organizations that really letting us know that they've been having some challenges, especially more first half 2023. But at the same time, it's also now trickling down to second half of this year. We've had some organizations say that this is not their best year. They actually had the big drop off from 2022. And so, yeah, it makes sense that you're really asking what's the realistic picture, no, moving forward. And to be honest, that will really tie into what I hope to share and hope to impart, no, to all of our people managers. So before we dive into the realistic picture or the context, first thing I want to let everyone know is that when you talk about resilience, it's about coming back, no, making a comeback. But there's actually four ways, no, or not really ways, but parang four types of making a comeback. This is taken from Nasib Taleb and his book on anti-fragility. When you come back from adversity, you can come back better, or you can come back worse. You can come back the same way. You can also come back in a different way. And those are obviously four different permutations. No, now the pressure almost all the time is to come back better, or to come back the same way. No, same way but better, or different and better. But sometimes that pressure, that's the expectation, diba?
Yeah.
But sometimes that expectation can actually make things worse. It can get in the way of being resilient, no, because the high expectations, the high pressure actually puts people into anxiety, and then that creates its own set of problems, no, for the organization. But let's take a look at some industries, no, that were able to come back different or come back better, no, before we go into the realistic picture. For example, we know that the IT industry, definitely that they're enjoying a resurgence, no. This is really their parang peak at the moment, because during the pandemic everyone went into digital transformation, automation, diba? Tapos syempre you have AI. Another industry that also came back better would be logistics. Kaya si Angkas, diba? Angkas is really flying high at the moment. So congratulations to them. They're doing well. Some organizations came out, or some industries came out different. Not necessarily better. If you look at their numbers, they're still hitting the same numbers as they were before the pandemic, on average. Example of this would be the education industry. The education industry, whether that's schools or training companies, didn't necessarily come out better. Pero ngayon, syempre, like what we're doing, everything is now virtual learning sessions, shorter sessions, micro-learning. Diba? So, not necessarily better, but because of the need to survive and adapt, you had to find different channels, methodologies, no? Are there some industries that came out worse? Siyempre, mahirap sabihin because their story is still being told. But speaking of stories, the movie industry is not necessarily doing as good as they were from years ago.
Wala na nga akong offer, Sir Luigi.
Oo, kaya nga. Hindi ko nakikita sa mga poster, eh, Joe.
Dati kasi stuntman ako, eh.
Wala na. Sa Netflix, kaya wala ka ng offer sa
Netflix. Kasi dati may exclusive contract ako sa Animal Planet. Oo. So yun, hindi na. Wala na. Talaga.
As talent.
Yan.
So yung talent na.
Real talk.
Real talk. Sir Luigi, you mentioned that.
Go ahead.
Like healthcare, for example. Healthcare has been, sabi nga nila, tiba-tiba daw nung pandemic. No, kasi laki ng cost, eh. Because everybody needed, yung lahat ng mga availments nila biglang lumobo. And that is an industry that's also battered. Talagang hanggang ngayon, lalo pa ngayon, lahat na lang konting sipon, konting ubo, diretso na kaagad. And we're so paranoid. So, is that part of it? Yung talagang battered na tuloy-tuloy pa rin. But we have a perception na talagang, wow, tiba-tiba kayo, ha? Because you have this opportunity to gain so much. And with the looks of the industry right now that you mentioned, and IT, for example, is doing great. Shipping, by the way, hindi pa rin nakakabawi. Hindi pa rin nakakabawi
that's right.
Of the load. So, ano pong, is there like for example, you said expectations. Pwede bang dam expectations approach tayo? I don't care about what the market expects. I don't care about what the community expects. Will it help organizations that if they start from scratch?
Not necessarily, because you still have to be accountable to your stakeholders. You still have to have a sense of what customers want, and the danger of that kind of thinking, of putting aside all expectations and just going down what you think is best for your company or your industry, is you lose sight of what really matters. Hindi mo na nafe-feel, nararamdaman yung pulso ng market.
But that goes to the parang my interpretation of your option 4, yung I'll go a different way, I'll come back in a different way. Was that it? Is that valid? Na if I come back, parang i-reprogram ko yung business model ko and redirect my vision. Pwede ba yan?
Right. So yun yung ano, diba? Yun yung you come back not necessarily better or worse or the same, but you come back in a different way. Right.
Yes.
It would fall into that, right? Especially when you consider where the seas of change are taking you. For example, for us in LinkOD, we were always known for doing group events, no? Mostly mga team building and training. We really weren't known more for individual coaching, but because of the great need for mental health interventions at an individual level, we're also recognizing that individual coaching, which is, of course, you know, your from a commercial standpoint, it's a little bit more challenging from a commercial standpoint, but we also recognize that that's where the need is. No, so you're right. To an extent, you do have to subvert expectations. No, totoo yun. But to your point earlier about example sa healthcare industry, again, some things are better, some things are worse or not as good. Commercially, we know that some pharma companies, some hospitals did do better in some of their services, no, or in some of their products. But I know of some hospitals who are also still trying to get back on track.
Yes.
With regards to in-house example, diba? Yung mga inpatient and outpatient is booming. But inpatient, go ahead.
May nag-o-offer na nga sir ng mga unli dextrose para lang ma-inganyo.
Yeah, right.
Diba, Miss Joan?
Yes. Exactly.
But the problem, I think, Sir Luigi, is when you talk about organizational resilience, we go to the very core, and that is in the individuals themselves. We are so threatened personally. For example, somebody like me who does creative work, meron na tayong generative AI. And then, pati pagsusulat, meron na tayong ChatGPT. So, ikaw mismo, individually, you're threatened. And now, you go to an organization that's equally threatened as a whole. So, ano pong mindset dapat as they try to, face 2024? Papuntang realistic na naman tayo ulit, sir.
Absolutely. So, again, I'll go back to what I was sharing about those 4 types of making a comeback, no? Because the mindset often for people is to always try and come back the same way or better or different. Worse is not an option. Although sometimes, again, you have to be realistic. And this is where the context is important. So you were asking me earlier, what's the realistic picture right now? Joan, you used the term earlier, post-pandemic. We're actually no longer in a post-pandemic phase. We're actually in a post-recovery phase. Okay. What do we mean by that? Diba? Na post-recovery phase. As you know, when the pandemic ended, was starting to end around 2021, early 2022, diba nagkaroon talaga ng revenge travel, revenge spending, people had
revenge hosting kami last time.
Revenge hosting. Ganda yun, diba?
Hindi, guilty si Miss Joan, sir. Galing saan ka galing, Miss Joan? Kasi wala ka for 2 episodes with me.
Kasi saan ka galing? Time na solo hosting si Joe. Kaya
revenge yun. Saan ka napunta nun? Saan ka napunta?
Nako, ano na lang yan? Off air na lang yan.
Sige.
Secret daw.
Lumabas na siya ng bahay. Yun lang po.
Booking na ako.
Sorry, Sir Luigi. Sorry na i-interrupt kita. Sige, go ahead.
No, it's okay. That's okay. Absolutely. I mean, but I think this is something that many people can relate to. Diba? I mean, as you mentioned in the case of John, it really was a recovery period nung post-pandemic. No, people were spending yung mga Christmas parties, no? People were going out, eating out, and so on. And so what happened because of that? Now, obviously, you had some companies who were on a high. Many organizations were were booming, especially compared to expectations, because the expectations were, oh, this slowdown is gonna take 2 to 3 years, pero hindi, in just a year and a half, medyo ang bilis na recovery, and then things were back for us in LinkOD. 2022 was our highest year, our best year ever. We actually broke through some commercial barriers. No? We were really flying high. But the thing is, as you know, when spending is high, that also can lead to inflation. And that was the story towards the latter part of 2022. When inflation is high, when prices go up, because demand is high, central banks step in. They have to raise interest rates. And that's why, if you notice, that was the story for 2023. No, that there were fears of a recession due to the increase in the interest rates, as you mentioned, the war in Ukraine. And so things started to slow down in 2023. Tapos sumabay pa siya with people no longer in that revenge spending mode. No, and I think that's the post-recovery phase that we're currently feeling. Exactly. Oo. Talagang biglang nag-slow down. No, and so I understand why resilience is now again becoming a topic. It was a hot topic at the start of the pandemic. Now it's becoming a topic once again because of the phase that we're in, not post-pandemic, but actually post-recovery. And so when you're in that scenario, you're in that context now, you have to realize that the wins won't be distributed equally. Not everyone will be benefiting or will be winning the same way. Kaya again, we go back to the different types of a comeback. It's not always that everyone will come back better. It's not always that everyone will come back the same way or come back different. Coming back worse has to be an option for organizations. And for individuals, we have to manage our expectation na pwede talaga yun because it's just because of the circumstances, it's because of the way things are. And I have to manage my expectations. Kaya, you remember the story of Felix during the conference. See, Felix talked about how they had to make some cuts in terms of their individual salaries just to be able to get through those tough times. So yun talagang for me, at the core of individual resilience is managing expectations. At the core of organizational resilience is knowing that you have 4 options in coming back.
Luigi,
sure.
Di ba meron tayong theory of evolution, and usually it's parang expected nga na it's like a natural way for us to evolve or to be resilient is to adjust, no? And matibay yan. Kung hindi nag-adjust, they get left behind, right? So parang you're mentioning, pag hindi sila nag-adjust, they become worse. Tama ba? Or minsan may mga times na nag-adjust nga sila pero worse off pa rin sila because of different circumstances.
Well, it will look that way, John. When we treat an organization as one whole, no, as one whole organism. But as we know, may mga sangasayan, no? Within an organization, there are different components of your operation. And so what we're saying is some aspects of your operation will come back better, hopefully. Some aspects of your operations may come back worse. Some aspects of your operation will come back the same way, no change. Some aspects of your operation will come back in a different way. And that's the mindset that individuals need to have. Diba? Na parang, because of the circumstances, and by the way, circumstances are temporary. Because of the circumstances, I have to prepare myself, my mind, that some things may be different, some things may be worse. But at least we're moving forward, no? And when you think about it, yung evolution, ganun din talaga, no? You'll really continue to move forward, but not everything will be the same. Just a quick story. Someone actually approached me during the conference and told me, Luigi, parang tumataba ka. Ayan.
We all hate to hear.
Yeah, we all hate to hear.
It wasn't me, sir. Huh? It wasn't me.
Thank you for clarifying that. But I know you were thinking that, Joe. No,
Oh,
but,
because I saw you in a coffee shop eh.
true,
Looking
true.
for pastries, di ba?
Oh, di ba? Oh, so alam ko
Yeah.
rin yung instead. Oh. So someone actually told me that because you see gaining weight. And then in one of our client visits, someone actually told me, Luigi, nagbabago yung mukha mo. Yeah, no. Okay. So I understand that, no. But at the same time, of course, we're getting older. Can't expect to always be looking good or being as fit maybe as before. So some things really will get worse as we evolve, as we grow older. But at the same time, some aspects I'd like to hope, like to believe some aspects of what I do in my life are better. Of course, some are the same, some are different. And so when I receive feedback, just that, I just tell myself, hey, that's part of moving, that's part of evolving, and that's part of life. And I think that's the expectation or the mindset for resilience.
Oo nga. Minsan, sabihin na lang natin we're aging gracefully and become wiser. Doon na lang
hindi naman. Kasi ako, I will always make it a point na pag naglalakad ako, dala-dala ko yung weighing scale ko. So, pag may nagsabing, parang tumataba ko, hindi and then, ipapakita ko.
Lalabas mo yung weighing scale.
Yes. Doon. But, as we wrap this up, by the way, kasi andito yung director natin sa side na nagpo-prompt na siya. So, if we can only, there are units in the organization that will bounce back and so on and so forth. But again, our collective focus has always been on of course, our people. If there are 3 qualities talaga that are, we can say requisites for bouncing back faster, hindi lang yung status quo, but talagang you bounce back faster. Ano po yung mga 3 qualities ng organization, people side, na talagang para sa'yo, parang prescriptive, na kailangan meron tayo or kailangan alagaan natin so that we have better chances of success for 2024 and onwards?
Yeah, great question, and a great time to just sort of parang distill what we've been talking about into 3 key takeaways. No, I think the first I guess parang characteristic or key message is really to have a healthy set of expectations. No, we've all heard the phrase "change is constant." That's true, absolutely. But we also want to add this statement: no, change is constant, adversity is temporary. So in a way, you can think of change as a loop, no, parang a cycle or a wheel. Sometimes you're winning, sometimes you're losing, and that's why sabi natin, adversity is temporary. When you have a healthy set of expectations, your mindset is, this will pass. No, this particular difficult situation. Again, the pandemic passed. We're now in the post-recovery phase. There are some challenges that we're facing globally. This will also pass. But again, I have to have a healthy set of expectations moving forward. Some things will be better, some things will be different, some things will be the same, some things may also be worse, but it's temporary. We're going to get back up soon. The second criteria, knowing that, is if I have this mindset, that adversity is temporary, I'm always looking forward with hope. I'm always, yung term na ginagamit namin, as you know, in our organization is, I'm always seeing the worthiness in situations, in people, in my work, that even if there's difficulty, even if there's adversity, there's still something good to appreciate, and there's still something good to look forward to. We're always seeing worthy, and having that healthy paradigm or healthy way of looking at things. The last is not just to see worthy, but to be worthy. So minsan na paparalyze tayo when we're anxious, or minsan din when you're too hopeful, you're too optimistic. Sometimes you can get paralyzed kasi parang ano naman pala things will get better. Intayin ko na lang. I'll just wait for my fortunes to change. But we also know that action is important. So you have to be worthy in the sense that you have to get up, you have to move, you have to execute, implement, really take charge, take initiative, and take action. So it's really that interplay, I think, of those 3 characteristics, those 3 messages. Healthy expectations, seeing worthy and being worthy. that allows us to make sure that on an individual level, we're progressing, we're evolving. It's not perfect, but it's going forward. And then also at an organizational level, it's not perfect, but at least we're going forward. I hope that resonates.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Wow. Nakaka-inspire, di ba, Miss Joan?
Kaya nga ang takeaway ko dyan may gratitude doon sa ano na yun SeeWorthy, di ba? You're looking at the things around you, you're being grateful for what you have, and then still working towards what you should do, di ba? Hindi yung satisfied ka na sa ano lang meron, hindi lang yung satisfied na, but you are still grateful, but still having that a little bit of ambition, no, to do better.
Yes.
Okay, prior to this, I thought that Constant Change is just the album of Jose Marichan. But
Nakaka-relate pa rin ako sa'yo.
Paskong-Pasko na tayo ngayon eh.
So, panahon na.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, it's really quite, poignant to say that it's what you hold on to, and it's what you believe, and you run with it. There's no time to look back and say, mga regrets natin for the past years. We always have to look forward, and it's so inspiring to listen to you, Sir Luigi. It's always that's why talagang we made sure that you'll be one of our guests, because we are confident that people listening to us right now will be so inspired, and we look at 2024 in a different light.
Thank you so much for
appreciate that. Oh, thank you also for sharing that. And appreciating that, Joe. Thank you also, Joan, for really packaging yung summary in such a nice way. I just have one question before I say goodbye. Joe, anong spelling ng poignant?
Yun ang gusto ko, sir, kasi pag ayaw ko i-spell. It's Poignant.
Wow.
Spell poignant. Yan.
Word for the day. Word for the day.
Yan. Hindi ko alam kung ibig sabihin. Hindi talaga. Medyo malalim siya daw eh. Dapat. It has more meaning. It hugs the heart.
Absolutely.
When you say something poignant. Pag for example, tinuturo mo siya. I'm poignant. Yeah, poignant.
Pointing at it.
Okay. This is not a Dep Ed recommended show kasi nga po mali-mali yung mga word meaning natin. Thank you. I hope everyone is listening right now as we we wrap up not just this show, but the year is coming to an end. And we would like to thank once again our president, Miss Beth Nasol, for she's the mastermind of this podcast. As soon as she assumed office, she really wanted a podcast for PMAP. Also like to thank Miss Sarah Nigos and of course Mark Anthony.
Yes,
Mark
and
Anthony ba naman? Mark Ian Fernandez. Diyos ko naman. Showbiz kasi eh. Mark Ian Fernandez. Thank you. Diyos ko. Mali-mali na acknowledge tuloy natin. And of course to our listeners. Yes, Ms. Joan?
Yeah, yung listeners natin all over the world. Diba? Nakikinig pa kaya yung natin sa...
Oo.
Saan yun?
Ang dami kasi. Sir Luigi, alam mo ba may mga unexpected places tayo na may nakinig at least. Like Mongolia, Kenya.
Ayun, Mongolia, yeah.
And then I just realized, Miss Joan, andun na pala yung mga relatives ko lahat. Dispersed
From
na pala.
Animal Planet.
Andun na. Okay. So once again, and by the way, may nagpapa-shoutout na ha. So Miss Denise Blanco, our president of PMAP Cebu, thank you always for listening to us, and Miss Ludi Lawas of the Metro Group, thank you. Tumatanggap na rin kami ng panawagan sa mga nawawalang aso doon. So please get in touch with us and send us notes or anything and any suggestion about future topics.
Thank you so much. And this is People Watch, Perspectives Matter. See you on our next episode. Bye,
everyone. Thank you, Sir Luigi. Thank you so much, Sir Luigi.
You.
Bye, everyone.